Good Friday, everyone, because today's Friday. The week is over. We had a Friday that's quite different on the Dow. It ended up negative 25, but it was down on the day. It closed down for the first Friday of the calendar year from its overbought level. S&P, so here's the weekly chart on the Dow. We are still extremely overbought. There's still going to be a pullback phase in here. And we're going to be going into a major catalyst starting April 10th when the earnings season comes. And I can tell you right now, it's a perfect major headache for the bull in the short term just because we have not pulled back. We did have a change of having a Friday negative close on the S&P 500 update. Once again, it's a weekly update. We're up toward the highs. The S&P closed slightly negative, only down 2.53. This has not hit our target of 1567 yet. So basically the pullbacks in the bull are very, very mild. But what we look at when there's a market turn is when they start closing negative on a Friday. And that's the first calendar Friday of the year. Here's the Nasdaq Composite. It too is up at its all-time bull high. But look at how narrow range the weekly bar is on the Nasdaq Composite, even though that it's still at a bull top at the high. But let me tell you, there's going to be a pullback over here. We're not as overbought here at 97 as it is on the Dow. That's a Nasdaq Composite. As far as the Nasdaq 100 goes, well, here's what we have. That Nasdaq 100 is 100 stocks in the Nasdaq Composite. It too has a very narrow range weekly bar that if this market is going to have its correction going through the latter part of the month, you would start with the gap down. And the 10-week moving average still has to be tested. Every time they test a 10-week, they pop it. That's what the bull has been doing. So once again, Nasdaq Composite was only down 9.86. There was a small recovery later in the day. Once again, we are still overbought. Once again, the markets will have to pull back at some point, as they always do. Once again, we will go over this with the MMTs very, very, very carefully as to what this means when we start seeing these kind of weekly bars with narrow range negative volume closing down on the day. So I've concluded the Nasdaq 100. That's what this was. We'll leave it with the Dow right here. Here, the Dow Jones is straight up at the ceiling in its bull run, and it's the most overbought index of the ones I just described herein.